PNG 2028. Yes, it has been announced that the PNG side will join the National Rugby League in 2028. We will also discuss Ryan Papenhuyzen resigns for 1 year. Unbelievable, just 1 year. And who is going to be the GOAT, the best halfback in the game? Andrew Johns or Nathan Cleary? Let's get to it right here, right now on the Barry Charles Footy Show. Welcome back, guys and gals, to the channel. This has been big news. Yes, PNG. All my fans out there in PNG, 2028, yes, you will be part of the National Rugby League. We don't know what your name's going to be. The arguments out there that it won't be the Hunters. We will see what name comes out for them. But who will be your coach? Well, all the talk is Jason Demetriou. I cannot see it being Wayne Bennett. I mean, I can't see Wayne Bennett living there. If they're happy for Wayne Bennett to travel in and out, then he's an option. But Jason Demetriou looks the most likely in terms of right now. But there's the likes of Adrian Lamb. Do they want a PNG fella there? Adrian Lamb would be right at the top of the list if he wants to go do that. But does he want to live in PNG? There'd be another question mark on that. But those are probably the ones you'll be looking at right now. Craig Bellamy, does he want to move on to something new and live there? I can't see that happening either with his grandchildren and the likes. So really, but let's have a look at PNG. Yes, pros and cons. What's good about it? What's bad about it? And is it really going to be good for rugby league in the future? Well, the short answer is yes. But let's get to it. What's positive for the players? Well, tax relief. Yes. So if you got $1 million contract, you go home with $1 million. I don't know how that works, but anyway, that's how they're doing it. So for a player of the top level, if they get $1 million normally, they only get about 500,000 or just above that. And the same for the big guns. Well, even for the little players, even if you're 250k, you're losing nearly half of that anyway. So it's going to be interesting going forward. For players to double their salaries, pretty much. It's going to be a no-brainer for some. But who's actually going to make the move? Do you see anyone actually making? Do you see Alex Johnson potentially retirement money? If they want to give him a lot of money, then he would go. But I guess he'd be going for a lot lower money. But say 500,000, that's 250,000 more than he would have had. So he's I potentially see him being one of the few signings. Xavier Coates, I don't see it happening. I don't think he'll handle it from what I've heard. I don't think he'll handle living in PG. I could be proven wrong. You're going to have to be a tough person, strong individual to go live in PNG. That's why I don't see many. Yeah, I mean, I can see some young people wanting an opportunity to go there. You might see a young half go there, or an experienced half that's been around the traps and hasn't quite made it in the NRL. You will see those types of players look at PNG. But anyone really established family, it's going to be very tough to get them to go to Papua New Guinea. That is the con of the tax relief. That's the con about it. Being a new club, obviously you can get new sponsors, obviously new players to the game. But let's be fair, they can probably 20 to 25, I'll say at least 20 players will be from Papua New Guinea. Whether it's straight from Papua New Guinea or through some of the players that have been playing in the Queensland Cup, we will see. But Papua New Guinea, we'll salute you, but it'll be good for the game. There's 10 to 15 million people there. Hopefully they'll get some free-to-air games. All their games will be free-to-air in PNG. Some money coming into the camp with 60 million a year. Actually, 60 million a year. 6 million a year, is it? Whatever it is, so the 6 million, whatever you want to call it, 60 million a year going into this junction. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Yes, so if we're looking at the negatives on the other side, security is a big issue over there. They're going to be locked up in a compound somewhere. They're going to try out the school and all that in there. Is that really going to work? I find it very doubtful that's going to work for many people. Someone potentially on the single life sort of thing may potentially go there, but most family people would struggle to live in Fiji. I mean, not Fiji, Papua New Guinea. They might take a short-term gain. They might go for a couple of years or a year. You might see a lot of one-year contracts, but I can't see big contracts coming for a lot of those players. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. Lack of entertainment around, where activities, what are you going to do there? It's not the same as in Australia, New Zealand, England. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. And if you go out, you're like a celebrity, so you get an attacked mob. No safety procedure there, so that's going to be a question mark how they're going to deal with that. They're going to have a lot of security, and I can't see a lot of the wives handling that sort of scrutiny around them. So I don't know how that's going to work. Yeah, so that's where you're looking at. But when I say it's short term, I mean short. It's good for the game, development of the game. Papua New Guinea having so many the national sport, all potential gun players. This team could be a force to be reckoned with if trained correctly, coached correctly. If they get some top-notch coaches training at a development level, bringing them into the top league, Papua New Guinea could be one of the best teams in the comp in 10 years. Don't get it twisted. They have the ability. Papua New Guinea have always been 80-minute teams. Whether they handle the 80 minutes, they just never give up. They go hard, hard, hard. Well, I wouldn't say 80 minutes, but I mean 60 minutes. They really do go hard as they can. If they can channel their energy and play for 80 minutes. We saw what the young squad did against the Australian team with a draw. If they can continue to go to that level, then Papua New Guinea could be a gun team in 10 years' time. They might have to develop from within to get the star halfbacks in that, but hey, Adrian Lamb was once a player there. So with the right training, Papua New Guinea could be good. Let's have a look at Ryan Papenhuyzen. Yes. A 1-year deal? Are you kidding me? What does that mean? Well, I was thinking craziness, and I really do think it's craziness because this guy's injury prone. He could have got a $1 million plus deal at the Bulldogs for 3-4 years. That's $4 million guaranteed money. Where here he could get injured and never play again. So interesting risk he's taking there on the injury front. But what does that mean? Does he want to go to rugby maybe? Does he? But to me, I think it's more about Craig Bellamy. I think Craig Bellamy said 2026 could be his last. And he's wanting to wait around and see who the next coach is before re-signing long-term potentially. But what's this mean for Fa'alongo? Well, Fa'alongo is staying put, and so is Jonah Pezzett. And I don't understand why. Well, I mean, I understand why right now, but Craig Bellamy ain't going to coach forever. Well, if he's there in 10 years' time, then, well, it's been a masterstroke from both of them because they'll be brilliant players. But I say more likely in the 5-year horizon, he will be retiring. So to me, I don't know, but hey, sometimes you go to a weaker club and you just don't get the opportunity. Look at Jack Cogger, absolutely smashed it for the Knights, for the Panthers and winning a grand final. He goes to the Knights, barely gets game time, so it shows you how the world can change around pretty quickly for you when you go to a weaker club. You get the blame when really it's the rest of the team around you not playing up to your standards. Or does he want to join like the Penrith club, Ryan Papenhuyzen, potentially in 2027, even though that has been delayed quite a while? The Western Bears is supposed to be coming in, but we will see if that happens. But just interesting terminations for other players, like Jonah Pez is staying on as well. I'm not sure. Obviously, they're taking less money too, which I don't know what the NRL's not stepping in there and saying, hey, take the money. But I do understand trying to stay under Bellamy. Now, yes, to finish off this video, the great debate. Andrew Johns or Nathan Cleary, who is the one? Who was the GOAT? Who was the best? And I had to put some other players in this list. People say, hey, what about these guys? Yes, Jonathan Thurston, clearly. Cooper Cronk. So Jonathan Thurston's more of an Andrew Johns type player. Cooper Cronk is with the Nathan Cleary. So they are robotic players. Don't get it wrong. They're just robotic, do the same thing consistently better than anyone else. Get the job done. Andrew Johns and Jonathan Thurston play more off the cuff. And sometimes it comes off brilliant. Sometimes it struggles. That's why they didn't win many comps. But Cooper Cronk, consistent. Boom, 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 boom. And that's why I think people have forgotten him about in the GOAT race. He's a gun player, Cooper Cronk. Absolutely. The skill not there. Don't get me wrong. His skills aren't numbered Andrew Johns or Thurston. But consistency. Yes, the great debate. Who was the greatest of all? Well, if you told me a few years ago, it would have been Andrew Johns. But to be realistic now, Andrew Johns probably left himself a bit out there with his injury, obviously costing him, but his off-field antics sort of cost him any chance of probably being the greatest player of all time. He's already in as a Hall of Famer, so no doubt about it. But I don't think he's the greatest halfback now, so you can't say he's the greatest of all time. I believe Nathan Cleary is maybe not quite there yet. He's still got to do something in Origin, but in terms of big game plays he has done so far in his career at his age, he is absolutely no doubt in my mind the greatest, and maybe the greatest player to ever play. People saying Cameron Smith was the greatest player to ever play the game. Longevity-wise, yep, absolutely. He knew how to control the ref. That's probably the biggest thing he had, because it probably wasn't talent that got him there. But in terms of controlling the ref, he got that done all day long. But to me, yeah, Nathan Cleary can potentially be the most robotic greatest player of all time. So probably you could have two ways of looking at it. You can look at the likes of the Alfie Langers and the off-the-cuff players like the Fittlers, the Dailies, Matt Bowens, Thurston Johns, and say they're better players. But then you look at premierships and Cooper Cronk and Nathan Cleary really go boom right there, and then obviously back to the St. George team back in the day. So that's where you gotta decipher: is premierships more important, or just what they do on the field 1 week and 5 weeks they're hopeless? Like say Sean Johnson, for instance, for some years he was a bit like that. So yeah, but yeah, Nathan Cleary to me is gonna be the GOAT, the greatest player of all time, and I don't think it will be taken over from me. I think you could argue he should be number 1, but no doubt Cameron Smith will be number 9 in terms of not number 9. Sorry, let's go back a little bit. There's a few more immortals to come in. I think Darren Lockyer has to go in. If you've got Andrew Johns in there, Darren Lockyer has to be there. You could argue Alfie Langer deserves to be in there. There's a lot of if, buts, and maybes, but and then you look at Cameron Smith's. He's going to be there. Then after that, it's a bit of if, buts, and maybes. Do you think Billy Slater, Cooper, Greg Inglis had a pinch? And then, boom, Nathan Cleary just stands out of the current crop of players. The rest, I don't know, if some of these other players want to get there, I say, yeah, might have to try and play a longevity game and play another 5 years and win 5 more premierships, and then, hey, then he will be looking at that sort of status. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Anyway, that is the Barry Charles Footy Show for another episode. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with another video soon.